Hey guys, Frost here. Welcome back. Blackwing Lair is scheduled to be released in early 2020. I'm guessing around late January, maybe early February, but that's just my guess. I decided to make a series of videos on what to expect from each and every class, and I'm going to touch on points on what your role is going to be in this raid, what talents each class will use, what gear, and how hard it is to obtain that gear. And I'm gonna talk about the best in slot list and so on. So the first character we're going to talk about today, the first class, it's the Hunter. Hunter is one of my favorite classes in classic World of Warcraft. I played it originally in vanilla for 100 days on the Ankh-Mirage realm, and I have a bit of experience with this character. Now, up until the Blackwing Lair patch, the Hunter did quite well, both in leveling, being one of the best leveling classes, one of the best gold farming classes, and they were performing quite well in Molten Core. Just like previously in Molten Core, they had the best in slot gear, 8 out of 8 Giant Stalker. It will happen the same in Blackwing Lair, being one of the few classes that can wear a full tier set for their best in slot. Now, in terms of raid spots, most raids will take between 2 and 4 hunters to Blackwing Lair, although probably you can take even more due to them performing quite well up until the point of Blackwing Lair where they hit their peak experience. They do quite well damage, they have a lot of roles in those dungeons. For example, in Blackwing Lair, you will be supposed to kite some mobs during the Razorgore encounter, some Dragonkins, then the Dragonkins above Velstra's room, for the suppression room, then the Spellbinders from the dragons, and that Talon Worm Guards. You have 4 types of mobs to kite. I guess it's up to all the raid leaders to assign how the trash will going to be killed and so on. Now, besides kiting, you also have to use your tranquilizing shots, so there's a minimum requirement of having at least 2 hunters in the raid. Make sure you make a macro. In case you miss your tranquilizing shot, you will be required to dispel the enrage from Ebonrock, one of the dragons, and I think Chromagus, if I remember correctly. Yes, Chromagus also has an enraging effect. Moving on, the talents will be mostly the same as in Molten Core. 90% of the hunters will use marksmanship. It's because it's a good talent spec, it's one of the best for PvE damage, but also because it provides the true shot aura, 100 extra AP for the whole party. Now, there are situations where a hunter can play a survival spec. It's what I played back in vanilla, even from Molten Core, because they had a lot of PvP gear, but you will mostly find 90% of the hunters choosing the marksmanship spec over the survival. Now, in case you have like 4 or 5 hunters, or you're playing Alliance for the Blessing of Kings, in that case the survival spec might be better if you have already enough hunters to cover the melee groups. But I guess that's some guilds decide on that, or if you're really a good hunter, you might be allowed to play. Moving on, some things you might know for hunters, it's that some guild will choose to get priority, funnel the Dragonstalker set to one of the hunters. In case your guild doesn't have like a DKP system or no special loot rules, one hunter might be loot funneled a full Dragonstalker set because of the set bonus. Now, switching from Giant Stalker to Dragon Stalker, it's a bit of an issue because the 8 set bonus from Giant Stalker, the 15 extra percent damage to multi-shot is quite huge. Some guides I've seen on the internet tell you that you can already swap your 8 set piece bonus from Giant Stalker once you get 3 piece set bonus from Dragon Stalker, which is increases the range attack power bonus by aspect of the Hawk by 20%. I would recommend doing your own tests and see what works best for you. 8 pieces of Dragonstalker will be your best in slot up to Naxxramas, and the 8-piece set bonus, it's quite OP, which has a chance whenever you deal range damage to apply exposed weakness to the target Exposed weakness increases the ranged attack power of all attacker against that target by 450 for 7 seconds. You can see, however, how this is beneficial for all the hunters, and why some people will be chosen to get the 8 set bonus faster than others. In terms of gear, like I said, 8 set bonus are the best in slot for hunters. Then the next one, we'll talk about the neck, Prestor's Talisman, which has 30 agility. It's best in slot for all content, for rogues and hunters. You will not get special priority, but most guilds will allow rogues and hunter to roll for this. The cloak's best in slot. It's cloak of Shrouded Mists, which will provide you with 44 range attack power and about 0.4 crits, 0.350 or something like that. There are discussions where Cape of the Black Baron might still be better than this because it provides a total of 50 attack power, however less crit. It depends. I think it should be a priority, like Cape of the Black Baron for marksmanship and maybe Cloak of the Shrouded Mists for survival. However, it's up to you, it's choice. I would probably wear the Cloak of Shrouded Mists for the extra stamina, a little bit of more survival, as the difference is not that big. Moving on, the rings. Well, there's a bit of problem here, because a lot of hunters might prefer to use, for example, Quick Strike Ring over Band of Aquaria, and that's not banned. Band of Aquaria will provide you with 32 range attack power and 2% hit. It is not like a big problem for hunters, so it's basically the same. If your marksmanship, maybe you can benefit more from the Quick Strike Ring, and if your survival, Band of Aquaria might be a better choice. The second best in slot ring, it's Master Dragon Slayer Ring, which provides you with 48 ranged attack power and 1% hit. Now, in terms of trinkets, I know I have equipped the Drake Fang Talisman here to prove a point, but in most cases, people will not give the Drake Fang Talisman to a hunter because the melee, such as rogues and warriors, will benefit way more than a hunter. In some cases, even Fury hybrids tanks will get priority over you over this trinket. Not only that it's rare, but it's best in slot for the whole content for most classes. Now, there's the argument that the hunter can benefit from it and it's best in slot, but there's also the argument that they don't require that much hit, neither the mitigation damage from the dodge. So if you get one of the Drake Fang Talismans, consider yourself lucky. Also, there's the argument that since you already have the DM Royal Seal trinket, which provides 48 attack power, an 8 attack power upgrade, it's not a big deal for you. Because basically that's what the upgrade is, as you don't benefit from hit as a melee dual wield class would. If you are in a guild with DKP, I wish you luck getting this trinket. If not, you will probably use the Royal Seal with the Black Hand's Breath from the Onyxia quest, the 2% crit trinket. Moving on, your main weapon, which is one of the most important drops from Blackwing Lair, the Crossbow Smithing, drops from Chromagus. It's the best weapon up to Nexramas, where you can replace it with either the Soul String the bow or with the Nerubian Slave Maker, which drops from Kel'Thuzad. So getting this one early on and getting the luck to obtain it, it's very huge. This will be 100% priority to hunters. No one else would take it. And it's one of the best items you can get in game. Get it as soon as possible, save DKP, try to get in priority there, because if it drops, you might not see it every week. It's on shared loot with a chromatically tempered sword, and it's a very low drop chance. I wish you the best on obtaining this weapon, because this will be like the main source of your DPS, your weapon. Moving on, in terms of weapons, I would say that probably Brutality Blade with Corehound Tooth would be best weapons, but especially for marksmanship, yes. But most hunters would like to get an Ashkandi as well. Ashkandi, it's a great two-hander. It provides a lot of attack power and stamina. It's great for PvP. However, this you might encounter problems here because warriors want it also for PvP and so on. So I would recommend trying to... Some guilds have rules about PvP weapons being free roll or prioritized to people that PvP. Some guilds will just give them straight up to hunters. I guess it's gonna be nasty. As you can see, the crossbow and the sword appears to be of the same set. As you can see here, there's an eye on the sword. There's also an eye on the crossbow on the side. It appears to be forged from the same material, and it just looks like a set. Also, your raptor strikes will hit huge. Your raptor strikes will hit huge wearing this set, and there are actually some hunters where if you want to obtain it over a warrior, or if you want to obtain it over someone else that wants it, a paladin or something, you might have an argument that you can land melee hits in between your auto shots. Now, there's some hunters that play like this. They stay in close range to the boss, and whenever their auto shot's on cooldown during their rotation, they quickly swift into the melee zone. They hit a raptor strike, they back up, and they continue their auto shot rotation. So if you can prove yourself at being capable of doing this and proving yourself being on top of the damage meters, maybe you will get priority for it, as this might be a DPS increase for the raid, and you can tell your raid leaders or your loot console system about that. Other than that, hunters are performing very well in this patch, and even after this patch, up to ZG and so on. AQ40 doesn't bring a lot of upgrades, so after BVL, the peak experience of hunters will go down because they just don't scale that good with gear anymore compared to other classes like warriors, rogues, warlocks, mages, and so on. So enjoy your time in BVL as you can. You notice that I haven't discussed about the PvP gear, so this is not like set in stone best in slot set. This is based on the items you have in Blackwing Lair. Hope this video was useful for you. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.